What's really good? What's really, really good? Social media. It's your boy Aaron Bevins and the one and only Tayanee Ashley. All
We're
right, I'm really
back, your favorite duo.
what da, da. I'm excited, y'all, because there's a question. If you knew you could not fail, what would you attempt to do? I think we've all heard that question, right? If you knew in the back of your mind that you could not fail, you could absolutely not lose, what would you try to do? What would you attempt to do? And so what this question really is bringing out is your self-confidence, right? And so today, me and Tayani Ashley, what? Tayanee, actually, we're going to be talking about self-confidence and what this has to do with your level of success in business. If you don't know Tayani, we're about to get to know Tayani right now, and we're going to be talking about how self-confidence can help you go from 0 deals to 3 deals a month, 4 or 5 deals a month plus, and making the kind of revenue that you want to make, and how this applies to any and every business and whatever aspect of life you might be in. I can't wait to introduce y'all to Tayani because she's one of my favorite people. She's absolutely amazing. She's very important to me, and I think y'all are gonna get a lot of value from her today. So right after this intro, we're about to make it happen. Let's get it.
We made it, that's facts, ayy. We the greatest, that's facts, ayy. Prices raising, that's facts, ayy. That's right. But we paid it, that's facts, ayy. I did. They hate it, that's facts, ayy. Cause we changing, that's facts, ayy. We did. Can't blame them, that's facts, ayy. Cause we made it, that's facts, ayy. Cherry on top, that's a goat, yeah. Where you been, I wanna know, yeah. Greatest story ever told, yeah. Greatest story ever told, yeah. I know you wanna look up for this. Baby, let me turn you up a bit. You said you made it through hell and back. Give me the scoop, baby, tell the facts. Don't be shy.
Every single time. It never gets old. It never gets old. All right, so the question is, if you knew that you could accomplish anything that you set your mind to, what would you attempt to do? Like if you knew you could not fail, what would you attempt to do? Right? And so Tayani, we're going to be talking about self-confidence and how this goes into wholesaling real estate and doubling your revenue, tripling your revenue, depending on where you are. You could maybe even be 10xing your revenue, depending on how big you want to play. But before we get into this, Tayani, there might be some people who don't know you. So first of all, give us a little background on who Tayani Ashley is, before we get into all these nuggets for today.
Yes. So my name is Tayani. I am based in Orlando, Florida. I've been around Aaron for about almost 2 years now and in the wholesaling community. And I actually got into the wholesaling space because I just wanted more options. And I know that is such a cliche thing to say. Like that's like the entrepreneur go-to. Like I just want more options. But it's so true. You want to be able to control your own time. I'm a mom. I have a daughter. She's 7, and I remember how all the sacrifices that my parents made for me. I love them to death. They're amazing parents. But honestly, I just wish I had more of their time. They worked really hard. And so I wanted to be able to spend the time with my daughter, but also provide all the things that my parents were able to provide for me and more. And so that's kind of how I got into this space. And I'm excited to be here and share that all with you guys because I know a lot of you are kind of in that little interim of like, what do I do? How do I do it? Where do I go? Kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%. So give us some background. How old are you? And thank you for sharing that, by the way. And where are you, like what part of the states are you in?
I am 28 and I am in Orlando.
Oh,
Orlando.
my bad. My bad. It's not polite to ask a woman her age, huh?
I
But
don't
we're
get
young enough. We're young enough. Yeah,
it.
we're young enough where it don't
I'm
matter like that,
21
right?
forever.
Yeah, that's right. Big facts. Big facts, 100%. So Tayani, you are um a member of the leadership scout team for the Superhuman campaign,
Yes, I
which
am.
is which is amazing. And this is one of the reasons why you are so important to me and our community. Everybody who talks about you and who's around you, talks about your energy, how amazing you are, and you're an incredible person all around. So talk about that. So what is a leadership scout for And what is the Leadership Scout team in the Superhuman campaign?
Absolutely. So our Leadership Scout teams helps connect wholesalers to the tools, resources, and community needed to build, grow, and scale their businesses. And it's really cool because I kind of got into this space because we shared a similar vision for what we wanted to, what our community, what we wanted it to look like, and how we wanted to build it and grow it. And so that's kind of how we came into the space. You'll see us a lot in the community. Always feel free to reach out. We're here to support you guys.
100%, 100%. So why'd you, real quick before we get into the nuggets, those of you that are just tuning in, we're going to be talking about your level of confidence and self-confidence in wholesaling real estate, and how your self-confidence will directly reflect itself in the deals that you're doing, the revenue that you're bringing in. And Tayanee, you know this from being around the wholesaling space so often. Like, what are some of the, or so long, I should say, what are some of the challenges that you see, and why is it so rewarding to be on the Leadership Scout team, where you're directly helping other wholesalers and investors to, get in front of the tools and resources they need to scale their business to the next level?
Absolutely. So I've been in the community for a little bit now, and I think there's a common trend that you see when wholesalers get stuck. I kind of look at it in phases. You come in and you're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what systems to use. My favorite is when someone says, just give me the best quality leads. Like, I wish I just had the best quality leads just wrapped up in a package. And then it kind of transitions to, yeah, I'm making a lot of deals, but I can't scale it. I don't know where to go from here. I'm getting deals, but I'm doing everything by myself. How do I start transitioning? And so for me personally, when I first started, I had shiny object syndrome. I started learning about wholesaling back in 2020 when it wasn't really cool yet. People were still sketchy. Like, all you had to do was convince the seller that it wasn't a scam at that point. And now they've learned that it's not a scam, and it's a lot harder. But like I said, I had that shiny object syndrome where I didn't know what to do. Like, it was, try this system, try this method, try this contact. And I got so overwhelmed and frustrated, and I lacked the confidence to believe that if I just did what was being applied or what was being provided to me, that I can actually go out and do it. And so that's kind of how I got into the community, because I wanted to be kind of a pillar where I can share my experience and say, hey, I was where you are. I understand the frustrations. I understand exactly where you're stuck and how to guide you to the next step. And so to be part of a community where you can see people go from point A to point B, and know that it's through shared experience. Because a lot of times you'll see people and they'll say, Bob was born yesterday and he already closed six figures in and you're like, gosh, like, how do I get like Bob? And it's like, no, you don't need to be like Bob. You need to be like you. So just building up the confidence that you can do it too, and seeing people where you are, because I love all the super successful people in our community, people who have found success in their businesses. But there's something about seeing someone where you're like, I had 0 deals yesterday, and today I closed my first deal. It feels so much more relatable, so much more attainable. And so I want to see people to show you, like, yeah, you can do it exactly where you are. No, you don't have to compare yourself, but yes, you can achieve that too.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I love that, Tayanee. I love that. So talk to me one more thing before we get into these nuggets, because a lot of people, I'm sure they want to get to know you because they're going to be seeing you a lot. They already have been seeing you in our Facebook group a lot. You're very, very active in there. Your Facebook you're in the Facebook, but also in our internal community, you're very active, and people know you, and everybody, who knows you loves you and speaks highly of you. But there's going to be a lot of people who want to get to know you as well. So why did you choose the Superhumans, and why are you always so excited whenever you're engaging with everybody? I think that's something that a lot of people would want to know.
Yeah, absolutely. So honestly, I support your vision, Aaron. We met, I think it was like end of 2022, and you just had such a robust, larger than life personality. And I think it kind of also extended into the way you treated other people. And so I thought that was really important. It's not, you treat the janitor with the same respect that you treat the CEO, kind of thing, because you never know who you're going to talk to, how you can impact their lives, how they can impact your life. And so it was important for me to be part of a community that believed in its members and the goals that they have set for themselves, or even not even if even back to the confidence thing, if they didn't have the confidence to believe in themselves or what they can accomplish, but having you believe in them until they can believe in themselves, kind of thing.
Mm.
And so we were talking about this earlier, and I shared a little story about how, one of your students, where the cold calling wasn't it, the PPC, like whatever it was, they were going into the acquisition field. For those of you who don't know what acquisitions is, it's contacting the sellers and getting those under contract, but that wasn't their specialty. And instead of saying, well, I've provided you everything, I've given you all the metrics, you're doing everything right, I don't know why it's not working for you, you instead led them to something that better suited the skills that they had, that's something that was like their purpose. And so I think that's really important, to have someone that sees that light in you and guide you. And so that kind of what guided me to the superhuman community, is the fact that, you provided a platform where people could be seen.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing that, by the way. That means a lot. I love it. And I think you were talking about Chris Crump, right?
Yes, Chris Crump.
Yeah, that's my boy, and man, to see him flourishing, and he's only an example, of so many people finding their zone of genius, finding their superpower, and then leaning in on it. And I think that's something that you're doing. And I think that one day, very, very soon, when people see the genius that is Tayani Ashley, not that they haven't already seen it, but when they do, those who haven't, it's going to be the same story. Yeah, I think you're on the pathway of finding your zone of genius, and I'm excited for the things that you're going to do. With that said, Tayani, we have a dope subject that we're going to be talking about today, which is self-confidence, and so we're going to be talking about three things, y'all. And I know this might seem a little bit intangible, or a left field, y'all. Like, okay, Aaron, like you teach and coach on wholesaling and building your business with six figures to six figures, seven figures with predictability and profitability. Why are we talking about self-confidence? And it's because of the question that we began with, y'all, which is, if you knew that you could not fail, if you were guaranteed success, and you were on the same journey that you're on right now, how big would you aim? And so the fact of the matter is that level of I cannot fail is what we're referring to as self-confidence. So your level of self-confidence will determine how big you're playing in this game, how big you're playing in this life. And I love what my man Les Brown says. He says the problem with us humans is not that we shoot too high and miss, it's that we aim too low and hit. And so our objective should be to train our thinking to be bigger. And the way we do that is through self-confidence. So I'm telling you right now, many of us that are here, and Tayani can probably vouch for this, that so many of us, it's not that we're doing the wrong thing, but we probably have chosen the right path, the right way to go about doing it. We're probably not doing enough, or we're probably just not aiming high enough, or setting the standard high enough, and it could be that we're falling short, and all of that is rooted in our self-confidence. So we're going to talk about three things. Number one, why self-confidence? Why do we need it? You know what I mean? What are some benefits of having the self-confidence? Why a lot of people lack it, and then we're going to talk about three self-confidence boosters that will help take you to the next level. And I promise you, this is going to have a direct correlation, a direct reflection in your business over the next 90 days going into Q2. So, from your perspective, and let's just start chopping on this, Tayani. So, for you, why do you feel self-confidence is so important, especially in business?
Because if you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you?
Mm,
Beyonce had a song, and she says, how can I expect you to love me when you don't love yourself? So
mm,
I think that's what it is. And I actually have a different approach to self-confidence. And I feel like the reason that self-confidence is such a struggle in so many people is because society has told them that they're not worthy. They shouldn't obtain this. They
mm,
shouldn't go for this. Even when you think about it, like when you're applying for a job, oh, you need to have this experience, this degree, this, and this. Like, it makes you feel like your opportunities are limited for you. And then you see
mm,
Bob, Joe, and Jill on social media, because we live in an age of social media. It's hard not to compare yourself. So that
mm.
comparison is the thief of joy. And I feel like that's why so many people struggle with the ability to believe in themselves and what they can accomplish.
So let's talk about that, because that means you just word it differently, but I feel the same way, that one of the reasons why we a lot of people lack self-confidence is because of, like, I call it programming, right? Like it's what we've heard from society. So um, how can people be aware of this? And like where are we getting these messages, you think? Like where are the messages that are coming in that the that suggest that we are worthy of less than what we really are?
Absolutely. I think it's all about the mentality, the way you speak to yourself, the way that, what you put in is what you get out. What are you listening
Right.
to on your drive home to work? What
Mm,
I'm a mom, so I always think of it like it's so much easier to see all your flaws when you're raising kids because they are a walking reflection of you. And so it's like, what are you telling your kids? What are you telling yourself? What are you speaking into?
yo,
What do you like, when
dang.
people say, "Oh,
She's
how's
speaking right now,
when
y'all.
they
She's
say, "How's
speaking.
your day going?" Oh, just living the dream. Like that's such a condescending thing to say. Like, what do you mean you woke up alive today? I
Mm,
had a friend of mine, they lost a child and like instantly, and it chokes me up to this day because it's like you don't know. Like you wake up tomorrow, what are you telling yourself? How are you treating people around you? And so I also think going back a little bit, it goes back to the way you view self confidence and the things that you do. When you think of it as like a child, for example, when a kid is learning to walk, you don't tell them, no, you can't walk. They fall down.
mm,
You don't tell them they can't get up. Try again, go for it. But that kind of dies out as you get older. Your dreams because unrealistic. Like, oh, no, like, sweetie, why don't you try this instead? Or, hey, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to hit 6 figures this year. Okay, but what's your backup plan? Well, I don't have a backup plan.
mm.
Well, you should.
You don't
Oh,
have a backup plan for what happens if you can't walk, right?
exactly. And that's why that's why it's so
Mm,
easy to lose confidence in yourself. And now you're thinking, like, well, dang, like you're successful. You had a backup plan. Should I have a backup plan? Am I missing
mm,
something? Um,
mm.
and it's also shaping the way you see failure, I think, because some people think of like failure as like it's inherently bad. Like I remember I was listening to a podcast by Sarah Blakely. She was the owner of Spanx, and her parents instilled
By the way,
failure.
if you see me looking away, Tayani, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I won't do this again. But if you see me looking away, it's because I'm taking notes on what you're saying because you're dropping gems right now. But keep talking. I'm listening.
Absolutely. She sold her Spanx company for $1.2 billion, instant
Mm,
billionaire from one sale. And the
mm,
thing that she attributed to her success was that her father praised failure, that they would sit around the dinner
mm.
table and he would say, "How did you fail today?" "Oh, well, I tried out
Oh,
for the soccer team and I didn't get it. I'm so proud of you." Why?
mm,
Because it reshaped their mind of what failure was. And
mm,
what better way to build confidence than going out and trying something, saying, "Hey man, I know you tried really hard. That didn't work out. Let's do it again." Okay. And having the belief that, like, yeah, that's obtainable for me. So I really think that the beginning is shaping the way you see failure. What do you think?
mm. No, I love that so much. I was just talking with with somebody about this today, Tayani, or was it yesterday? We were talking about how most of us don't try new things or do the thing that we know that the success requires because we're afraid of failing. And that fear of failure then causes us to fail because failure is required to succeed. So the proper view of failure is exactly what you're just saying, which I should be excited because that failure means I'm agitating the market, you know, and
I
I'm
did
moving
something.
forward. I did something, right? So in the gym, we push to failure. If you don't push to failure, then did you even really work out?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I'm with you. I'm with you. I love that. And I love the way your mind works because, okay, we're talking about why self-confidence is so important, why people lack self-confidence. And I love that you started with programming. And I said, okay, where does the programming come from? What are the sources of negative programming? And I love what you said. It comes from 90% of it is ourselves, the way we talk to ourselves, right? So self-talk, auto-suggestion, self-programming is so important to boost confidence. And then you said, and then you got into the view of failure, right? Our view of failure can often, because sometimes I think one more thing I'll say on this, and let's get to the next one. Um, Sometimes when we fail, we misinterpret it, and so it's the misinterpretation of failure, right? That causes us to, and the misinterpretation is the proper interpretation of the failure is exactly what you just said, which is I did something, I took action, I did something I was afraid of, and I got my first whooping, and man, I'm excited to get back in there. the misinterpretation of failure is I did something and I failed. I'm no good at
I'm
it. This is
bad.
not for me. I'm
I'm a
bad. That's
failure.
right.
You
I'm the
personalize
failure.
it. It's
That's
not I
right.
failed, it's I'm a failure. And I think just
Mm.
shaping the way you look at it is what's important.
Dang it, Tayanee, you speaking right now,
He'll
Tayanee.
be back, guys. He'll
Wait,
be
say that
back.
again. Say that again. Say that again.
People
No, but
associate failure with, they personalize it. I'm bad. I failed. I'm not good enough. Instead of, oh, I need to try again. I learned something. That was an opportunity to grow. Failure is just an opportunity to learn. You haven't learned. My daughter does this all the time. Oh, I'm so bad at math. She's having problems with math right now. And I'm saying, baby, you're 7. You've never done math before. Of course it's hard. You've never dealt with money before. Of course, you don't know 25 plus 25 plus 25 is 75 cents. You don't know that yet. You have to practice it. But what they get so caught up on is, I'm dumb. I don't know it. I can't do it. It's not that you can't, you've never done it before. Of course, you're
right.
going to fail at it. So,
Imagine that, and I love that you associated, having kids with. It tells you so much about yourself because imagine, Tayani, if we would just talk to ourselves the way you're talking to your daughter, right? Like you're not. What do you mean you're bad at it? You just started. And what if we gave ourselves that sort of pep talk every time somebody yelled at us on the phone when we're calling, every time a
absolutely.
deal fell through? You know what I mean? As opposed to saying, "Man, I suck at this. I'm no good at this. I'm never gonna be rich, man." As opposed to saying, man, I'm learning, I'm taking action. What was the lesson I learned? You know what I mean? I love it. I love it. Okay. Um, what about this? Let's talk about this. One more reason. We talked about 3 reasons why people lack confidence, which is programming, self-talk, our personal perception of failure. The second thing is the misinterpretation of failure, saying I'm a failure as opposed to I failed. I'm a winner. I'm a winner who failed. You know what I'm saying? So the proper understanding of failure, and then the third thing we when we were building this out together, we said it was not keeping commitments to yourself. Now, none of
Mhm.
us are perfect here, so at the risk of sounding hypocritical, we're still going to drop facts, right? So
Absolutely.
so what say you on this in terms of self commitment and 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 your self confidence?
Absolutely. I don't remember where I read it or heard it. It's just kind of jumbled up in my brain somewhere. But I read or heard that you program your brain. Your brain doesn't know what's true or not. You tell your brain it. So if you're saying today's going to be a great day, it's going to be a great day. If today's going to be an awful day, your brain picks up on the cues and looks for things. It's like the red car effect. If you go out onto the road and you're thinking about a red car, you're going to see a red car. And we actually play this game on the highway, and sometimes I throw out like crazy ones, like we're not going to see a purple car, and here comes a purple little Ford Focus streaming down the highway. So it's whatever you focus on. So your brain, you tell your brain how to think, how to function. It picks up on cues, but it takes it a step further where you say, okay, I'm going to wake up tomorrow at 5 a.m. I'm going to go to the gym, and then the next day comes and you don't. Your brain's like, okay, so like it starts programming itself to stop believing that you're going to do those things because you've told it so many times that you're not. Think of it like your partner. Okay, babe, I'm going to come home. We're going to have dinner together. Okay, great. Really excited. Day 1 comes, your partner doesn't show up. Okay. I'm so sorry I got caught up at work. No problem. Tomorrow. Okay. You're waiting again. A week later, at some point, you're going to stop holding your breath for your partner to come home on time for dinner. You're going to start thinking like, man, I've been here before. I've done this. It's not. And the same way with your brain. So if you're constantly telling your brain, like, I'm going to do this, but then you don't, all you're programming your brain to do is to be disappointed and to lack belief in yourself. It's
Mm,
kind of the same thing with other people. So if I say, hey, I'm going to do this, be a personal reward, but the most important person you need to be accountable with is yourself, because if you can't hold yourself accountable, how are you going to hold others accountable? Now that's just setting up hypocrisy.
yeah, yeah. And that's crazy, right? To think about that we can program our mind by our actions by just keeping the small commitments we make to ourselves. And man, that hits home. That hits home because it be times, it
I'm
be
big
times.
guilty.
Yeah, I was gonna say it be
I'm
times where
guilty.
I'm supposed to be at the gym at 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock comes around and I'm
Oh, it's a
reading.
long day.
Yeah, I'm talking about 5 a.m. So it's like waking up. You know what I mean? And so, and I'm reading the fine print on my eyelids on the inside. You know what I mean? And
And then you make
I'm for it.
excuses too, and you start rationalizing in your head. You know what? I can do it right after lunch. Oh,
Yeah,
I can do it after work, and it's always something. And the next thing you know,
yeah,
we're already in quarter two. It goes
that's
so
right. Mm, you turn around 3 months and you haven't changed. 6 months,
fast.
2 years, 5 years, and you haven't changed. Absolutely. So I love this. This is good advice. We got some people, they're showing you love. They're showing you love all across the socials. And, but look, and shout out to everybody who's on all the platforms from IG, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, the Facebook group. Much love to all y'all. We have over 120 people live across all platforms. We love you guys to death. Let's get into this. 3 self-confidence boosters. By the way, before we do this, let's talk about this. Why are we talking about? We know Tayanee is a leadership scout in the Superhuman Wholesaler group. She helps people scale, build, scale, and take their business to the next level. I do the same thing. We normally talk about wholesaling. Why are we talking about self-confidence right now? It's because
You
this
have to
has a
have the
direct.
audacity.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Like you
Tayanee.
always say, Aaron, you have to have the audacity
Why? Why?
because you're gonna stay stuck forever if you don't. You have to
That's
believe
right.
it.
In order to get more than what you have to become more, you have to do more than what you've done, which means you need to become more than you've been. And it takes audacity to say I can grow and change as a person, just like it takes audacity to say I'm gonna grow big muscles. It takes audacity to say that I'm going to change my behaviors and become a different person, because it's not just about what we do. It's about who we are. And that's self-confidence. That self-confidence is believing you can become and believing that you are the person that that deserves what you want to have. And so this is why self-confidence is so important. Your self-confidence is directly related to how much money you're going to make. Y'all, it's directly related to the type of family that you're going to have, what you're going to settle for, what you won't tolerate, what you will do. And so let's talk about 3 self-confidence boosters. All right, 3 self-confidence boosters. Uh, um, the first one, I'll let you talk on this one, Tayani, and we can add more ninjas to this if we want, little side notes if we want. But 3 self-confidence boosters. The first one we said, your power circle.
Mm.
What do we mean? What do we mean when we talk about the power circle and how this boosts confidence?
You need to have people who share in your beliefs and your like-mindedness to grow. You ever hear like if you're around 5 millionaires, you're gonna be the sixth?
That's right.
If you're around
Yep.
six negative people, you're gonna be the seventh. You ever go somewhere and someone's like they just find everything to complain with, how heavy that feels on your soul. Like you leave
Yeah.
out of there feeling drained. But when you come
Yeah.
out of a conversation with someone who is excited for life, grateful to be alive, grateful to just be able to do what they do every single day, you're like, wow, that's amazing. Like I can do that.
Hmm.
I can be great. It's so
Hmm.
important to surround yourself with people who share in a vision. It doesn't have to be the exact vision, but they have a vision, they have a
Hmm.
purpose, they have a
Hmm.
goal. And
Hmm.
I think that's why it's so important to be in a community that believes in you, supports you, and wants you to succeed just as badly as they want to succeed.
Man, that's so huge. That is so powerful too, right? And that's the power circle, right? That's the power circle. Man, I love that. I love that. And don't you find that, there's a scripture in Ecclesiastes. I want to say it's Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 12. I want to say it's the one that says, matter of fact, let me not quote the scriptures improperly. Let me look it up. But I want to say it's Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 12. And I love this scripture so much because what it says is, let me read it. It says, moreover, matter of fact, let me read from 9 to 12. Look at what it says. And this is talking about the power circle. This is ancient wisdom. It says, it's actually Ecclesiastes 4, 9 through 12. It says, two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their hard work. For if one of them falls, the other can help his partner up. But what will happen to the one who falls with no one to help him up? Moreover, if two lie down together, this is not talking about sexually, this is talking about if you were in the wilderness and just two, right? But if two lie down together, they will stay warm. But how can just one keep warm? Right? This is referring to, it's illustration, it's illustrative. If you were in the wilderness, right, and it's just you, if you had another body next to you, right, you could stay warm under a blanket, right? You can conserve more body heat and utilize the body heat. And then it says, in verse 12, watch this. And someone may overpower one alone, but two together can take a stand against him. So that's the power of a power circle. Having a group of people around you who have the same vision, the same mission, the same core values, the same beliefs. And man, a power circle are people who, when you get discouraged, you'll look at their example and be like, man, I can't not show up today because they're gonna show up today.
Mm-hmm.
And even if I have the audacity, like you were saying, if I have the audacity not to show up, my people in a power circle, what's good? Why are you not like what's up? Get up, let's go. Hey, I understand you don't feel good, but your bills don't care. Get up, you know what I mean? Like that's the power of that. So I love that. Thank you for bringing that out, Tayanee. Okay, then the next thing we said, second self-confidence booster, we said keeping small commitments. Break that down or expound on that for us, Tayanee. Keeping
Yeah.
small commitments to ourselves.
I always say you got to give yourself the easy wins. And people, okay, there's one thing that says it took you, for example, me, it took me 28 years to get where I am today. Why do I expect success overnight?
Mm,
Why do I expect change to happen overnight?
mm,
If it took me 28 years, I don't know, I'm in debt. I drink a lot. I do whatever it is that people struggle with in their life. It took you 28 years or however old you are to get to that point. Why are you trying to rush it overnight? And so the
mm.
second piece of that is when you're making those small commitments, people bite off too much they can chew because they say, okay, I've been here for 28 years. I'm not where I want to be. I need it tomorrow. You're setting unrealistic timelines on your goals, on what's expected of you. And so it's giving yourself those small wins. Hey, I don't need to wake up at 5 a.m., go do a 2 hour workout, do 10,000 steps, come home, eat breakfast, and then play with my kid, get her to work, like get her to school by 8 a.m. How about tomorrow? I just wake up at 6 a.m. and I stretch and I'm good.
Mm,
Because
mm.
then you're setting the expectation. Your brain is learning, okay, at 6 a.m. we get up and we stretch. Okay, now I'm doing that consistently. All right, I get up at 6 a.m., I stretch, I go for a walk. Okay, now your brain is like, okay, it starts creating those patterns in your brain that start making those habits to become easier. You got to give yourself the small wins.
Hey, you are speaking the most crazy amount of fact. You all the languages in the world today, and Tayanee wanted to wake up and speak today. Come on, man. I love this so much. There's a book called Atomic Habits, and it talks about this. It talks about the fact that, you know, um, just creating the programming of achieving the small wins consistently over time will allow us to build momentum and the self-confidence to be able to do big things, right? I love it. And by the way, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the practical side of what you just said for yourself, Tayanee. Yes, there's the programming of the small wins, but big exponential results compound
Mm-hmm.
from and are based on small, daily, consistent behaviors over a long period of time. Imagine if a dad said, imagine if a dad or a mom said, you know, I'm never going to see my baby, but I'm going to give them the best 16th birthday ever. And so they never, up to being 16 years old, they may have seen their child once. But on the 16th birthday, they gave them the birthday of their dreams, which would be insane and awesome, right? But then they never see them again. And then they expect to have, at the end of the parent's life, they expect to have a good relationship with it. You're out of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You're out of your mind. It's all of the daily, consistent, unseen, tedious, frustrating moments through the years and years and years why at the end of your life this person would more likely be willing to want to be around you. But parents, they want to wonder why their kids don't want to be around them when they become adults. Well, my childhood sucked around you.
You missed such important moments.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not justifying, I'm saying like this is just an illustration for your success is the same way, right? The actual, it's not just the programming along the way that takes place, but it's the fact that success requires the daily small commitments that we make. It's not one grand act of bravery and valor that's going to achieve success, right? It's the daily consistently showing up. All right. One more thing we talked about, Tayanee, one more self-confidence booster. So the first thing that you mentioned was power circle. Have good friends and a good circle and a community around you. Number two is keep the small commitments that you make to yourself daily, consistently, weekly, whatever that looks like. And then the third self-confidence booster we said was service.
Mm.
How does service boost your confidence? Because some people might be watching this and be like, what do you mean? How can service boost my confidence?
You have to have a server's heart. When
Mm,
you know how they say like it's lonely at the top? Is
mm,
it? Is it? If you're doing it the right way, is it?
mm,
You have to
mm.
have like you giving it's in the Bible, it's in everything that you practice. There's so many, I don't know. Okay, this was a hard one and I'm fumbling on my words because I'm
No,
passionate.
you're not. You're not. You're speaking right now.
You have to be able to step outside of yourself and be able to grow and help individuals. It's kind of like the theory like,
Mm.
okay, if you give a horse a drink, it'll be fine for a few. But if you teach, oh no, sorry, hold on. If you teach a man to fish, there's one with the horse, but I don't remember the horse one. If you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. But if you teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. That's the same
Mm,
thing with giving your time, your education, the things that you learn, the valuable resources that were provided to you, and sharing that on to others. Because then you can grow a community that believes in the same things that you do, or are helping a nation grow. It doesn't start with just you, it compounds over and over in person. So if I serve you, they'll serve two other people who will turn through other people, who will serve four other people, who will serve a community, who will serve a country, so on and so forth. It's believing that there are bigger powers working for you. And the only way to do that is to get out and give. What's the most valuable resource to have? Your time.
that's right.
I can give
That's
you all
right.
the money in the world. It's easy to make more money, but how many times have you, man, I really wish I can have that conversation with my grandfather one last time. Give, because
Mm,
you can give, but you can't always get.
that's
Okay.
right. That's right. And the crazy thing about there's a law of polarity. It's a law of polarity, and it says in this universe that we live in, if there is an up, there must be a down. If there's an in, there has to be an out. You know, if there's a backwards, there must be a forward. It's the law of polarity. It's just the way it works. If there's a future, there has to be a past, and we can go on and on and on and on. It's the universe that we live in. So the law of polarity says if I give, the law says there's even a sub law based on this called the law of compensation. I must receive. Come on, like if I get, so that's why I love that you're talking about this service. If I make my life about servitude, I serve my people, I serve my vendors, I serve my employees, I serve my associates, I serve my family, I serve my spouse, I serve, I give, I give, I give. The law says I must receive. And here's the dope thing about this law of polarity, because oftentimes the universe says if I give a little, I'll get a little. Even if you look at a pendulum, the power with which the first ball impacts the set will be equally that will be equally transmuted to the other side, right? And the pendulum will swing. But if I slam the ball over here, it'll throw up and slam over here. But but in the law of compensation, it doesn't work that way. In the law of compensation, what you will receive in a multiple of what you've given. And nature teaches us that. And in regards to giving, nature and the way this universe, it's exponential. So every fruit has within it multiple seeds, right? And each seed has the capability to build a tree or to grow a tree. And a tree can yield unlimited or X amount of fruit. And each fruit has, so each fruit within itself has the ability to multiply exponentially. So what it teaches us that what we give and the seeds that we plant in the terms of jealousy, hatred, envy, it comes back to us. We're planting seeds of trees, an orchard of jealousy or hatred or ugliness or cheating or lying or stealing or dishonesty. But if we're giving, right, Tayanee, if we're serving, we're also doing the same thing. We will reap a yield, right? If we're sowing and planting seeds of love, of support, of encouragement, of belief, of faith, of hope. And so what ends up happening is, I love this quote, Tayanee. It says, the hand that casts the rose smells like roses. Isn't that something? The hand that casts the rose smells like roses. And of course, the opposite of true. The hand that casts the doo-doo, well, you know, you know what
Well,
I'm
that's
saying?
no lie.
You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. But the fact of the matter is, whatever we dish out, it's inherently still with us. You know, And so it applies in business in such an incredible way that whatever we're giving out, it's going to come back to us. Now, so there's that aspect of number one, it just boosts my confidence to serve. But what really will boost the confidence is when you see the results of that servitude come back and benefit you. When you see the external results, because we weren't even talking about the external results, but when you see the external results coming back, man, that's just like an exponential growth of self-confidence. Wouldn't you say, Tayani?
Absolutely. It's kind of like the ripple effect. You drop a drop of water into a pond and you watch the ripples grow and grow and grow. I feel like that's the impact that it has when you have that servitude heart, that leader heart, when you're giving out without the expectation of receiving back.
That's right. That's right. I love it. I love it. All that to say, Tayani, what's your this has been incredible, by the way. We're coming up on time. We've got an opportunity to meet you. We've got, Tayani Ashley, the Tayani Ashley, which is dope because like I said, you're such an important person to me, to members of our community, Tayani. And you're gonna do some absolutely amazing things. But let's talk about this real quick. Let's just recap what we've talked about. Um, you being a member of the leadership team and leadership scout team for the Superhuman Wholesalers, the impact you're having on an entire community, an entire nation of people is incredible. Um, we talked about self-confidence and how self-confidence is directly reflected in our efforts and our successes. Um, Let me ask you this: what's your vision?
Oh, I am part of a much bigger vision than my own. And the superhuman community has a massive, massive vision of $100 million boardroom by December 31st, 2027. Why? Why?
Talk
Everybody's like,
about
why?
that. Talk about that. I see. I didn't even know you were going to bring this up. I swear to you, I did
I
not know you were going to bring this
do.
up.
We talk about it often, and it's important to be part of something bigger. If you don't have a vision for yourself and where you're going, you can always latch onto someone, and they always call it an entrepreneur. You can latch onto a vision until you find yours, until you find your purpose. Just being part of
Mm,
something bigger will automatically help you boost your confidence and your belief in what you can and cannot accomplish. So why $100 million boardroom? Because alone you can go fast, but together you can go far. Who
mm,
you have 100 multi-millionaires in a room
mm.
together. What can you not accomplish?
Come on.
What can't you accomplish? What
Mm,
question can you not answer? Or even
mm,
if you have all these people in a room and you can't get the answer to your question, or you can't figure out a solution to your problem, whatever it is, you're telling me that not a single one of them can find the resource to provide
mm,
you or make
mm,
the connection to you. You have to
mm,
surround yourself with people who are thinking big and dreaming big. But even more so, my portion of this, because Aaron and I kind of talked about this and kind of fed off of each other of what our vision for the community looks like. My
mm,
story was more so the touchy feely part, where it was like you just need to be part of someone who believes in you, who has a shared vision, who you can always say, I'm feeling like a 10% a day, give me the other 90. I'm feeling 50%, give me the other 50. I'm feeling
mm,
80%, give me the other 20. It don't always got to
mm,
be 100 or 50-50. You have to meet people where they are and be the support system that you didn't have. I always think of it like, just think of it of like when you were a kid, be the person that you needed as a kid. When you're in business,
mm.
be the person that you needed in business. When you didn't have the mentorship or the guidance or the know-how, be that person for someone else, because that's what community is about. And that's why it's so important to find your community.
Yeah, 100%. I love it. I love it. Tayani, you are so special to me and the rest of this community. CT always speaks amazing about you. The community always speaks amazing about you. And I think the world is going to be able to see that moving forward. I'm excited that you're a part of our community vision. I'm excited that you're a part of our team. And I think you're going to do amazing things. For you to be so young, 28 years old, and to be a part of a vision that's so big and to be thinking the way you do, I don't think you give yourself enough credit. And you're going to do some absolutely incredible and impactful things. Mark my words. Y'all heard it here first. So we appreciate you. We appreciate you, Tayani.
Thank you so much, Aaron, for having me. I am truly humbled to be part of this vision and to be able to partner with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. With that said, y'all, in the comment section, put any questions that you have about business, any questions that y'all have about self-confidence, any questions y'all have about self-development, any observations that you have about it. Tayanee wants to engage with you. We want to talk to you guys in the comment section, and let us know. Do you feel like you need help on your self-confidence? You know what I mean? Let's just talk. Let's just chop it up, because I feel like this is something that's not discussed enough in the world of business, just because I think we get locked in on a lot of the mechanical things, which are important, but a lot of those mechanical things most of us inherently know, and it's not the mechanical things holding us back. Really, it's the self-confidence. Really, it's the self-development. So Tayanee, final words. What would you say if you had 30 seconds left to share anything of value to individuals who are watching this, who are future world changers? They say our demographic on our insights are typical. It's about 40% male. I'm sorry, like 45% male, and the rest is female, or vice versa. Women and men between the ages of like 18 and 45. Many of them are entrepreneurs, want to be entrepreneurs. They're about to be entrepreneurs, or they are entrepreneurs. What advice would you give them in closing?
Okay, the one thing that I learned, if you absolutely take nothing else, is to take action and have the belief that you cannot fail. You can fail. It's okay to fail, but keeping in mind that the only time you actually fail is if you quit. So if you don't quit and you keep going and you get your reps in, I don't remember who it is, but they was like, you have to eat a shit sandwich. You have to eat I think it was Eric Klein. He was like, you have to eat enough shit sandwiches to really get the taste out of your mouth before you can say, I actually did it. I committed to it. You can't try
That's
two
right.
times and then be like, well, this ain't for me. It's not,
Right.
that's not how it works. You have to, the only way to cure insecurity or fear is to take action. It's going to suck. It's going to really suck, but you have to do it, because I've spent personally so much time over analyzing, saying, if I'm not going to succeed at this, I can't do it. And it's wasted so much valuable time. I always think back, like, how much further would I have gone if I just started taking action day one? So don't be that person. Go out and do it, and do it with your full heart, and find people who believe in you and can support you through that, because there's power in unity.
That's right. That's right. I love it. Tayanee, you're absolutely incredible. Thank you, everybody who supported. Over 120 people stayed on the live. Many of you stayed the entire time across all platforms. I love you guys. I shout out to IG, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, the Facebook group, my Facebook page, Facebook profile. Shout out to all of you. We love y'all so much. And if you're not home, drive safely. If you have to drive today, drive safely. Love on your loved ones. Brush your teeth. And for God's sakes, don't slap nobody. Until next time.
Bye, guys.
Y'all. Deuces.
We made it, that's facts, ayy. We the greatest, that's facts, ayy. Prices raising, that's facts, ayy. That's right. But we paid it, that's facts, ayy. They hate it, that's facts, ayy. Cause we changing, that's facts, ayy. We did. Can't blame them, that's facts, ayy. Cause we made it, that's facts, ayy. Cherry on top, that's a goat, yeah. Where you been, I wanna know, yeah. Greatest story ever told, yeah. Greatest story ever told, yeah. I know you wanna look up for this. Baby, let me turn you up a bit. You said you made it through hell and back. Give me the scoop, baby, tell the fact.